So this video is about review games. In this video, I'm going to discuss some games that are not very complicated and can be used for many ages. And in this video, we will talk about games that are pretty simple, but there's some materials required. First one would be like Jenga, Connect 4, Limbo, Hot Potato. These are all games that you could bring and incorporate in the classroom. It's honestly just as simple as asking a review question before you begin. Sometimes if you get the wooden Jenga blocks, you could go ahead and write a subject on them. That's what I did with mine. So when they pulled a Jenga block out, they had a history question or Latin, whatever it said on there, and I would ask them that question, and that would conclude their turn, and we'd move on to the next student. They would pull one out, maybe it was English, so on and so forth. But if you don't want to do that, you could just use Jenga blocks, and they have to just ask a question, and then they have to pull a block. Next student, ask a question, pull a block, so on and so forth. A lot of people have Jenga. You could borrow it from the library or a neighbor or something like that. Connect 4, same thing. Have them ask a question. They can go. Limbo, use a timeline song, use a history song, a math skip counting songs, whatever you want to do as you play Limbo. Same thing with Hot Potato. Just bring something simple. It could be anything, a little ball like this, anything. I mean, you could even play with one of your markers if you forgot to bring something for your Hot Potato game. Grab something that you already have them toss it around and play Hot Potato, and that's really it. Okay, so something that's a little interesting and fun is when I do Who Has the Horse or Hide the Rat. And so Who Has the Horse, you can change the name of it. It was just Who Has the Horse for me because I had a little horse. So change it to whatever you want. You could grab something like this or a little toy that you have from home. So this could be Who Has the Bear instead. And so what you do is you, as the tutor, you would turn around, or you could have a room mom do it. You turn around and they sit in a circle, kind of like Hot Potato, or they could do it in a line where they pass it back and forth. I had mine sit in a circle like Hot Potato. And so while I sang a timeline song, or we sing a skip counting song, or we sing the timeline song, whatever you want to do, they would all pass it around. And whenever I would stop, that person would try to hide it like this. Then I would warn them, I'm going to turn around. I would turn around and I had to try to guess who had it. So they had a lot of fun with that. The little kids give it away easily like this. Okay. So that is Who Has the Horse. But like I said, you could change the name of that. The other one, Hide the Rat or Hot and Cold, is where I step out of the room or I have a room mom step out. And you could, again, hide something, anything. It could be this, it could be your marker, dry erase. You get the picture. Really anything. It could be anything. And so they are going to hide that. You could do teams, you could do boys and girls, whatever you want to do, or let them all take turns. So they hide something in the room. You give them about 30 seconds while you're out in the hall. You come in, and then as they sing the history song, or as they sing the skip count, the 7 skip counting song, whatever it is, as they're singing that, they're going to get louder or softer depending on how hot or cold you are. It's basically just hot and cold. It just gets them to sing it. Do not find it until they're done singing it. So a lot of times I'd be like, I have no idea where it is until you finish the song. Okay. Another one that is really simple just to bring things, it would be Four Corners. Now with Four Corners, you have 4 corners of the room. You could use anything. You could bring like your timeline cards, or you could put a piece of construction paper and it'd be like, this is the red corner, this is the blue corner, this is the yellow corner, this is the pink corner, whatever you want to do. You could use your timeline cards, like I said, and be like, this is Creations in the Fall corner, this is the Tower of Babel corner, whatever you want to do. Just distinguish a corner in the room. And then you could say or play a song or recite some memory work, and they will get to run around to the different corners or go hide in a corner. And then when you are done, you still have your eyes closed and you will call out one of the corners. So whoever's in that corner is out, and then you start all over again until you're left with a winner, or maybe even a couple of winners. So that's how you do 4 corners. Another one that's really easy, you don't have to bring much. I take egg cartons like this, and they each get a letter in them: math, Latin, science, all these subjects. And you can get those They could toss in a coin or a button, but I get those little flip frogs from the dollar store where you push on them and then they bounce in here. And then whatever one that they get, I ask them that. So if they get an L for Latin, then I ask them a Latin question. So this is really easy. You could do little paper bags like this where you set them up. And then they have to toss something in them, a ball. What do we have here? This, just whatever. They toss it in there. So whichever one they get, oh, you landed in history. You could do the same thing with some paper plates and some bean bags. So like I said, these are games where you do have to bring some stuff in, but it's not really much. It's very simple and probably things that you have around your house. So let's see what is left. Dress the Tutor is really fun. So you can bring things that you have from your house, maybe your daughter's dress up closet or your son's costumes, whatever you want to bring, and hats, scarves, boas, fake little mustaches. You can run to the dollar store and get some stuff too, some beads. And so you ask a question to the class or to a certain student. For every right answer, you have to put on another article of clothing or costume or whatever it is until you just look so silly because you're wearing 10 hats and lots of scarves and stuff like that. You can grab some of your husband's ties, whatever you want to do. So Dress the Tutor is a lot of fun. They love doing that. Another one would be the parachute in the ball, like for the little ones. So you have a parachute and we just try to like move it to keep the ball on it as we sing the history song, or you just sing the timeline song. Have fun singing the timeline song, and they have to try to keep the ball on the parachute as long as possible. So for that one, you would just need a parachute and a ball. Let's see. Another one that I really like to do for cycle 3 is to just do a plain printout of the US map. And so what I do is I work on this week by week, or you could wait until you're all done with the states and capitals if you want, but week by week. So as we would do those 5 states and capitals, then during review game time, I would have them use different oils to fill in each state. So maybe for Maine, we would go over Maine, we'd all point to it, and I would say circles. And so they would fill Maine with circles. And so we'd go so on and so forth, straight lines, curvy lines, all that stuff, so that we're reviewing not only our oils, but we are also reviewing our states and capitals. So that's a really fun one to do. If all you have to do is print out, like I said, just a blank little US map for your kids. And then at the end, they've filled all 50 states with like angled lines, curvy lines, dots, circles, things like that. And then what's really, really simple is having time. I know review games can be a lot of fun and a lot of energy, but it is also so nice. You'd be so surprised at how the little ones and the big ones love in the middle there of review game time, or maybe at the very end of their day, just to have a calm moment. And so what I would do is you could use Legos, Play-Doh, sand, building blocks, like even just wooden building blocks. Use your Jenga blocks if you want, or even just putting a piece of paper in front of them to draw. And what I would do is turn on, like some math or timeline, history, whatever you want to do. If you don't want to play a song, you could literally go through and read week 1, your science. You could read the question and the answer, or go up to them and ask them a question and answer as they just quietly get to have some creative building time. With sand, you can go out. I have these little like bread tins you can get them from the dollar store, and some sticks from my backyard. And I just bring a bag of sand, and then I fill each one of these up. When I did the littles, when it came to skip counting, they would just get to play in the sand. Sometimes you can bring little things to bury. Don't have anything in front of me, but something that like they could even bury in the sand if they want, and play in the sand as you guys skip count. Even with the older ones, I would give them each just a little pile of Legos, and the only rule was we're just not going to talk and visit with our neighbor. And I would turn the lights out, and I would go to each one, and I would lean in and just say, okay, Johnny, tell me about World War II. and he would answer me quietly. We would just whisper. Then I would go to the next student and ask them a question. With the little ones, I kind of just read out loud a question, and then we all answered it together as they got to build their Play-Doh or build their little building blocks or the Legos. And the moms were always super impressed because it's like, wow, they're just sitting here so quietly. It's so calm. It's so peaceful. So I did try to incorporate that within our days when we just needed that moment of just calm. So those are some simple games that are not very hard. You can just bring in stuff that you have from home. Keep it really, really simple. All right. So if you are wanting just a list of just very simple games where you're not required to bring in extra things, I did make that video. You can check it out. And then I'm also going to have a third part that will discuss more complex games for older students. You can check that out as well. That's all I have for now.